Ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at is a real ticketing system with real tickets, meaning that this is an IT tech support help desk ticketing system with real tickets, with real issues that we're going to talk about. This is important, especially if you're going to work these type of jobs. So let's say you're interested in working tech support. This is exactly what you would be looking at. These are some very good examples, and we're going to learn about them. As a quick disclaimer, no personal information is being released in this video unless otherwise public, meaning that if you see somebody's name, it could be their real name, but it is public information. If you see me typing in login IDs and passwords, those would all be fictional and it's not from real people. This video is for educational purposes only. Before I start, please do me a favor and like this video or just leave a comment. And if you know what I usually ask, please do that as well in the comments. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Well, let's look at this one here. What is this? Booking.com. It says when I log into booking.office.com, my screen starts flashing and switching between screens. Below is the screenshot. Well, actually, more than a screenshot. This is a quick video, actually. Let's look at this here.
It's the same thing as logging into OutlookOffice.com and then going to the bookings page. It just like It's the same thing as logging into OutlookOffice.com and then going to the bookings page. It just like
you see.
It's the same thing as
so the same thing happens whenever they go to office.com or when they go to bookings.office.com. So what's going on here is that you have two different businesses using same type of cloud service for their email or for possibly everything else. And this is indicated by ending here where it says office.com. In this case, bookings.office.com is using Microsoft cloud-based service for their business. Chances are the business that you work for here is also using office.com for their services. Now, it may not be called office.com, but they're using their same cloud service for the login, for the authentication. So that's what's happening here. And I don't know if you noticed when I played the video, you've mentioned the same thing happens at office.com. So why is that happening? Well, here, let me just go to office.com right now. Office.com. You see how it automatically logged me in? Because I'm logged in with Microsoft domain-based cloud login for Microsoft 365. And this can happen even in the businesses that have been around for a while because everybody's moving towards cloud-based computing. Cloud-based computing. So even if you work for a business and they use regular Active Directory login for their domain, chances are they are moving towards cloud. Matter of fact, they have no choice at this point. And then everything that is web-based can be web-based. And for those reasons, when you go to office.com, you see how I'm here, office.com, just like you go to office.com, I can also log in. When I hover over this login ID here, again, this is not a real person. It says here Bob at cosmicnovo.onmicrosoft.com. This could be anything. This could be called my business, blah, 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 blah. So it could be some big companies also at destination, right? So let's say you work for, I don't know, google.com. Well, not they wouldn't use it. They would use Google Docs. But let's say they use, what's some big company? I don't know. Let's say AT&T or Verizon, T-Mobile, something like that. This could say tmobile.com, but it would be your work login ID. Chances are it would still be serviced or the service would be provided through the cloud services of Microsoft, which would be office.com. So you have to go in and sign out of this, sign out of this account, make sure you sign out of this account, and then go to bookings.office.com. Matter of fact, let's see if I get the same issue. It may not be because sometimes it's just a corrupted, the way it's just confused, but let's see, booking.office.com. You see how it tries to use my own credentials that I just showed you, not my own. Again, this is a fake person, but you see how it's trying to use that. Well, it's trying to automatically use that in your case. So you have to make sure that you log out of that first, or even go into the credentials manager and delete that if you want to be able to access that. But normally you should have the option to do another one. Let's do this here. Let's go back to it. You should be able to use another account right here. But you're not getting that because it's automatically trying to log in with your currently logged in ID. I hope that's explainable. I hope that's understood. I shouldn't say explainable. It is explainable because I just explained that, but I hope it's understood. I'm going to say, I think what is going on is that booking dot, is it booking or bookings? Bookings dot office.com is trying to use your regular office.com account credentials. I would log out of office.com and try again. Terrible at spelling. But English is my second language, so hopefully it's forgiven. That takes care of that. All right, let's work on something else. Here, let's try this one here. This is just a random one, I guess. Can I use xcopy on CMD to access and transfer data on a Bitlocker Drive? Computer is not booting on recovery boot cycle. If I remove the hard drive and connect it to another PC as external drive, can I use xcopy on CMD to access transfer data? If yes, please. Okay. So you would need the unlock. You would need the BitLocker key to do this. So what's happening is that, let's say you do attach that drive. So here's my computer. Let's say that's this drive here. If it's locked, well, if it's still working, right? If it's still working, it would show up. And I'm assuming it's not damaged to a point where you can't use it. You would have a lock key. So you can move hard drives from one computer to another, and you can immediately open them up, even boot to the operating system on that same drive. However, you're going to need the BitLocker key. Now, if you put this hard drive into a different computer, it's going to ask for the BitLocker key. It will not boot. And if you have the BitLocker key, you can type it in, it's going to work. But if you add it as a shared drive, like this, as a second drive, that's fine. You can do that, but it will have a lock on here. And I have a video on this too as well somewhere else. But anyways, it's really simple. You have to right click and then unlock it. You would have that option in here to unlock it, but you would have to use that key for that drive. So if you don't have that drive, you're out of luck. So I'm going to say yes, but you need the BitLocker key to unlock the drive first. Yeah, I have a real demonstration of this. There's a video somewhere. I don't know. Just go to youtube.com/Cobbleman, and there's a search box somewhere, and just type in BitLocker, and that should do it. If you want a bit more detail with the demonstration. Oh, here's a MacBook one. Sure, let's do MacBook. Tech support does support Macs, but not too much, but it does happen occasionally, so it's good to know some stuff. It says my calendar on MacBook is not syncing with my Outlook calendar. The calendar is syncing fine on my iPad and iPhone, but not my MacBook. This happens a lot. You have people using Apple products, but they want to use business stuff that is office based, which is Microsoft.com stuff, right? Microsoft stuff. It says, I have deleted my account and re-added it, but still not syncing. Now I can't get mail on my MacBook either. So, I know you're saying here my calendar on MacBook is not syncing with my Outlook calendar. and you've re-added your account, and that's fine. I would certainly do that as well just to make sure. But if you tried everything else and you tried it online and it works online, office.com or outlook.com, and if that's working fine, if the web version is working fine, but your app is not working, then the issue is with your app. So that app needs to be updated, reinstalled, or something like that. I would concentrate on that and go from there. So I'm going to say I would reinstall the Outlook app on the MacBook. All right. All right, what is this one here? New cameras slowing down computers. We recently got the new camera system. It seems that an occasion logging into the cameras on our workstation is slowing down or freezing other functions on the computer like email and etc. It is problematic because we need the cameras up to watch students in our testing centers, but we also need to do other tasks. Do you have any tips that might help us alleviate this issue? So when it comes to viewing cameras, it's kind of similar to streaming online. Let's say that this video is being streamed live on YouTube. There is a certain amount of bandwidth that my internet can provide in order to support the bit rate that's being sent over the internet, right? But if it's your local network, it would kind of be the same thing. And that can quickly overwhelm the network bandwidth that is available at your place. So in this case, I think this is a college or a university. So the issue could be the network bandwidth, but there's also an issue with the camera server that's processing the server, the encoding, that's also sending it just like as if you were to stream. It's just like as if you were to stream data to YouTube or any other live streaming service. So what I would do, I would go to the camera server because that's most likely what's going on. I would say I would, let's see, I would check the settings on the camera server and make sure that the bit rate, I'm going to say data bit rate is not set to very high, I suppose. This could cause issues with the network speeds if too much data is being sent. The issue here is not just like the bit rate, but it's also the encoding of it. So sometimes if the server is not fast enough, it may not be able to handle multiple streams, multiple feeds of video, because the data packets, if they're too large and they're hard to process, they won't be able to handle it. And let me just check here. Cameras, you mentioned multiple cameras, so there's definitely more than one camera, which could be problematic. Let me just show you something real quick here. I'm going to say YouTube for streaming. Here we go. So this is what you need, right? So check this. If the cameras that you're looking at are 1080p resolution, then these are the bit rates that you want before it comes to a point where it starts to pixelate, meaning lose quality where you can't even see what's going on. So make sure it's not higher than this. So you can try to aim for a middle, which is what, 4500 or something like that. So make sure that this is set to that, right? But if it's lower than that, then you can go to even less. And as long as you adjust this, it shouldn't cause any problems with the performance on the workstations, right? All of this should be separate from the workstation itself, because all that's happening is that you are viewing the cameras on the workstations, right? You're viewing, and yes, there's some processing done on your end as well, but you're not doing the encoding. You're not doing the heavy lifting when it comes to viewing. Just like on any computer, you can pull up multiple videos on YouTube and they'll be running fine, right? That's because you're just receiving data and you're viewing. You're not necessarily encoding and processing data at the same time and sending it over the internet, meaning uploading. You're not doing that. You're just viewing and downloading. Uh, so for those reasons, I would concentrate on the server itself that's handling this. So I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, let's look at from Raul. Intermittent shutdown and black box. There is something that have irritated me for 2 years. My PC keeps shutting down intermittently and displaying the black box at the same time. My PC is AMD Ryzen. Oh, okay, so it's Ryzen 3500 with Radeon RX 5500 GPU. Updated GPU drivers, but the issue still exists. Windows 11. I have another issue with YouTube videos. The YouTube videos keeps flickering pretty often. Through the movie seems fine. Though the movie seems fine. Huh. Let's see some of these screenshots. So this is the error. Problem with your hardware caused Windows to stop working correctly. Doesn't say much else to me. These are just reference numbers. Let's see this other one. Oh. So, okay. So it's definitely an issue with your GPU, unfortunately. You'd see how this is what's happening, is that your video driver is crashing. I know you said you updated it, right? I know you said it upgraded, but it could be a couple of different things, right? It could be that your GPU is overheating and your video driver stops responding. Your video card just freezes up. It's definitely related to that. And it just first here's what you can do. Let me do this here. Well, matter of fact, let's look up what is it exactly. AMD Radeon RX 5500. Let's do this. So here we go. Images. So it could be any of these, but let's say, for example, you have dual fans. Make sure they're both spinning. Now, they won't necessarily spin all the time. Some of these fans will only come on when they need to, and it's like controlled by the AMD Radeon control panel or software, I forget exactly. But make sure that the fans do spin whenever you are watching something or playing a video game or something like that. Make sure that they are turned on, because otherwise if they're not spinning, that means they're not cooling off. And with overheating, you can have these type of issues. So that's one thing. Now, I know you've updated your driver, which is great, and that's definitely what I would do too. But make sure that you're not overclocking, that your GPU is not overclocked, and that would definitely cause instability if you don't have if you don't have enough, if you don't have proper cooling and whatnot. Now when it comes to overclocking, you have to adjust the voltage sometimes too to make it stable, but that creates more heat. For example, if you want to overclock your GPU to be faster or CPU, you have to give it more voltage. And more electricity, more voltage creates more heat. Obviously, it pulls more wattage from your power supply. I mean, you could assume that maybe the power supply is to blame, but I don't think so, because this is a typical Windows, not Windows, but AMD GPU driver crash. And this is basically asking you to send a report to them just so they can possibly look at it. I mean, I don't know if this is possibly useful to whoever it goes to over there at AMD, but I would look at that and possibly underclock. So you can go into overclocking settings and do it. This, of course, I can't tell you to do this for sure, because every time you mess with this type of stuff, you do it at your own risk. But you can try underclocking it. So you go to overclocking panel, which should be part of the driver, and lower the speed of it, which could make it more stable. So that's what I would try to do. Unfortunately, I wish I could help you more, but it's definitely something to do with your GPU. That's what I would do. I'm going to say, I think this issue is definitely related to your GPU either overheating. I'm just going to say either overheating or some other hardware related issue. I would check to make sure the fans on the GPU are running and that your GPU is not overclocked. Possibly lower the GPU speeds to make it more stable. I hope that helps. All right, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not feeling too well actually. I have these sinus issues that are just killing me. I apologize if you hear me sniffling throughout this video, but I wanted to make something and put it out there so that people can, you know, enjoy. All right, if you like this video, please like it, leave a comment, share with friends. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye. Resolved.